Tonight at 6, we have updates on the aftermath of the train derailment in East Palestine and how the city is recovering after the explosion.
The United States deploys a task force to Turkey. More on the current state of the country and the aid being sent there.
And Biden will give updates in the State of the Union address. What are the topics he will mention and what does it mean for you?
Later on, Disney and Marvel continue to break more records. These stories and more ahead as your TV2 news starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Tuesday evening in Portage County, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nuried Hurtado.
And I'm Josh Aponte.
We'll start tonight with updates on the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, after Governor DeWine spoke this morning.
Authorities in the region held a press conference at 1 p.m. earlier today, telling residents they are working on the most effective and safe manner to control the incident and get residents back into their homes. But they have no estimate on how long that might take.
This comes after local authorities and emergency teams conducted controlled release of cars on train cars with chemicals that could have caused a lot of damage. All of the 5 cars in question have now been cleared from causing further damage. The town of East Palestine is only 2 miles wide, meaning many of its residents were ordered to evacuate.
Those residents are now fleeing the aftermath of the incident. Our reporter Gabby Jonas has more on this story. Hi, Gabby.
Yeah, hi guys. I visited the evacuation center in East Palestine this afternoon, and many of the residents, like you said, are still not able to return to their homes. Take a look.
So I grabbed my wife and said, "We are leaving right now."
Over 40 residents in East Palestine, Ohio, relocated into an evacuation zone after toxic fumes leaked from 5 railroad cars that derailed from its tracks on February 3rd. Some only blocks away from the crash.
I heard this boom. I thought it was thunder, and then that's when the fire was there.
Living in Palestine for 31 years, Michelle Massey says she packed up her things and made her way directly to the safe zone at East Palestine High School as soon as police told her to evacuate.
I got my medicine, some fresh clothes and stuff, and I actually literally walked back up here.
Roger Walker, a retired veteran, says he's thankful for the help he received during this hard time for him and his family.
We have cots, we have a place to sleep, and they bring in some fairly decent food.
Water, food, and a blanket. These are just some of the things that the American Red Cross is providing for the residents of East Palestine to make it feel a little bit more like home.
We will be here until we're not needed anymore, basically.
They feed us Pizza Hut, Dunkin' Donuts, and other businesses have been kicking in.
Though Stephen Carpenter has lost all of his immediate family before the derailment, he's thankful for the one he's made inside the evacuation center.
It's funny how you make friends during a disaster. But I'm just happy that I got checked out at the VA and I don't have the toxic stuff and I'm not glowing in the dark at night.
As of right now, these shelters will remain open to evacuees, and other authorities are still unclear when people will be able to return home. Stephen Carpenter said, quote, "The explosion reminded me of my service in the Vietnam War." Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Gabby Jonas.
Thanks, Gabby. Continuing with the derailment, there are many future concerns residents have as the situation develops.
TV2's own Anthony Leonardi has more on a personal account of a family located close to the accident in Palestine, Ohio. Anthony?
Thanks, guys. Those located close to the accident worry the chemicals coming from it could possibly affect the environment there. This concern is echoed by farmland owners like the Parker family. Their son says they have not been able to return to the farm yet, and the family is concerned for the future.
The chemical that was burning changes when it's mixed with water. So, we have livestock out there. They're grazing cattle. My grandfather still farms the land, so he produces crops like corn. He bales hay that he sells and trades and all that kind of stuff. So for us, it's more of a situation of like, what is this going to do going forward? Like, will we be able to continue to raise cattle in the future? Will we be able to keep farming land with the crops and things to feed the animals and stuff?
Gabby says his family has not been able to return to their farm, leaving them no clue if or how badly their farm is damaged. The photos you are seeing now were taken from the farm during the incident on Monday. Gabby says it is located only about 1 mile south from the derailment. The town itself is only about 2 miles wide, and Gabby says most people he knows had to be evacuated. Many residents are waiting to hear from authorities on when they will be able to return home. TV2 will update you as the situation in Palestine continues to develop. Reporting from the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Anthony Leonardi, TV2 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abby Forbes, your Tuesday weather anchor, and it's getting warmer out there, Portage County. Let's take a little look. Today, it is 49 degrees outside currently, but it feels like 46, so a little bit of a wind chill there. It is going at 9 miles per hour, so it's going to be a little bit windy and also a little humid out there. But the visibility is 10 miles per hour, and the dew point is 37. So as you can see, it's a lot warmer from last week. Looking at the hourly forecast for the rest of the evening and into tomorrow morning, it's going to get a little bit colder overnight, but it's going to get a little bit less cloudy as well. So tonight, the winds are definitely making it cooler, like I said, with that southwest miles per hour wind. But the sunset, it just set, and we're ready for the evening, and it's going to get a little colder, but that's not all, because as I get into the week later on, it will get warmer. So stay tuned, Portage County.
Thanks, Abby. The Portage County's airports consultant gave updates on the status of the airport. Consultants from the Aviation Management Consulting Group and Portage County commissioners met via Zoom. They talk about the work already done and plans for an upcoming report. Be sure to stick with Ken Wire and TV2 for more in-depth information about the future of the airport.
A Georgia man is facing drug trafficking charges after authorities said they found 24 pounds of ecstasy pills in his car during a traffic stop in Portage County. The man is 49-year-old Cornell Harp, who will face these charges in the Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna. The Portage County Sheriff's Office said that the pills have a total estimated street value of $1.35 million. The drugs are believed to be connected with a Mexican drug cartel, but there is still an ongoing investigation.
Many people in Turkey and Syria were affected by a massive earthquake, what the countries are doing to recover, and how the U.S. is helping them.
Discussions continue regarding the Chinese spy balloon. What action will be taken by the United States next?
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. A deadly earthquake hit Turkey Monday with a magnitude of 7.8.
CNN's Isabel Rosales reports on how the affected countries are dealing with the aftermath.
From under the dust and rubble, a small hand reaches out. Volunteer white helmet rescuers pulling out a Syrian boy from the debris, alive. But their frantic search for life is not enough.
We need help, we need support, immediate support from anyone who can support us.
The catastrophic 7.8 magnitude earthquake collapsing buildings as people slept in bed. The U.S. Geological Survey predicts the death toll could rise by the thousands based on the location of the quake in Turkey and Syria. It's one of the strongest to hit the region since 1939.
We're not ready to deal with something like this. It's bigger than us and bigger than any NGO operating in northwest Syria to handle this disaster.
Survivors unable to go home, taking shelter wherever they can find, even in cars.
If you want to say hello to my kids.
But strong aftershocks complicating the search for those trapped, the biggest of them measuring a powerful 7.5 magnitude. International help is on the way. Several countries are donating money, equipment, and manpower as rescuers dig for any signs of life. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
The U.S. Agency for International Development's Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance deployed a Virginia task force Monday night to help with the situation in Turkey. The team of 79 members and 6 dogs are gearing up to go. No word on how soon they will depart. More than 80 members of the Los Angeles Fire Department's Urban Search and Rescue team will join them. In addition, World Central Kitchen is sending a crew to help, according to Washington, D.C. Chef Jose Andres.
Now let's take a little bit of a closer look at the weather. Across Ohio and into the rest of the week. So looking across Ohio, you can see we're in the 40s this week and in the 50s in Worcester, which is really nice compared to last week. In the teens and the 20s, we've definitely doubled that, which is really great. And looking all across Ohio, it's a lot more in the 50s as you go towards the west, and over near us, it is more in the 40s, but don't worry, because looking ahead at the week, we are going to be getting up there ourselves here in Portage County. So tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 45 with a low of 35, mostly cloudy, and then that rain is going to come in for a little bit on Thursday, but it is going to get up to 61 degrees, which will be a nice change of temperature. It is going to get a little bit down as we get into the weekend, but it'll come right back up as we come out of the weekend, and the sun is going to come out actually this weekend, which will be nice. Nice for the chocolate walk and things coming up this weekend too. Nice weather, and it's going to keep going nice as we get into the next week. But that's all the weather I have for you tonight. I've been Abby Forbes. Stay warm, Portage County.
Thank you, Abby. And later tonight, Joe Biden will deliver his first State of the Union address since Republicans took control of the House. Here's CNN's Karen Kaifa with more on what he plans to highlight about his administration during his speech.
With Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy seated behind him, President Joe Biden plans to highlight the things he views as his administration's accomplishments to distinguish his Democratic Party in tonight's State of the Union address.
I want to talk to the American people and let them know the state of affairs, what's going on, what I'm looking forward to working on from this point on, what we've done.
He is expected to make a call on Republicans to swiftly raise the nation's debt ceiling to avoid a devastating default that would crash an economy with a strong labor market and cooling inflation.
It's not a negotiable item. It's Congress's constitutional obligation.
With invited guests like the family of Tyree Nichols, the black man fatally beaten by Memphis police officers, the president is expected to address police reform and gun violence after a spate of U.S. mass shootings to start the year. Internationally, he'll likely address support for Ukraine, just shy of 1 year into its invasion by Russia, and fresh tensions with China as Republicans criticize his administration's handling of a suspected surveillance balloon the U.S. shot down over the Atlantic Ocean this weekend.
What are we going to do the next time this happens? Are we going to allow it to fly through here again and shoot it down once again to the East Coast? I mean, these are questions the White House needs to answer.
This will be Biden's final State of the Union address before he makes a public decision about a re-election bid. And 2024 presidential primary campaigns ramp up.
U.S. Capitol Police and law enforcement around Washington have increased security for the State of the Union address. Over the weekend, authorities constructed a non-scalable fence around the Capitol. The bulletin also notes social media calls for violence against the Capitol remain prevalent, meaning the Capitol Police will keep close tabs on social media during the address.
House Republicans are considering whether to pass a symbolic resolution regarding the suspected Chinese spy balloon. While some Republican and Democratic lawmakers differ on how quickly the craft was shot down, members of both parties agreed this is a serious issue for the nation. John Lorraine reports.
The suspected Chinese spy balloon is grounded, but it's still metaphorically hovering over the United States, especially Washington, D.C.
This is a national security risk. China should not be permitted to do this. It's unfortunate that the balloon was permitted to go all the way across the United States.
President Joe Biden said Monday that the takedown of the balloon didn't damage the U.S.'s relationship with China.
They understand our position. We're not going to back off. We did the right thing. And there's not a bad question of weakening or strengthening. It's just reality.
According to the Pentagon, at least 3 other suspected Chinese spy balloons entered continental U.S. airspace during the Trump administration.
This is not the first time and will not likely be the last time that the Chinese have sent surveillance balloons over the continental U.S.
On Thursday, sources say the Senate and the House are scheduled to hold separate classified briefings on the balloon.
The Chinese Communist Party is a very real threat to Americans. We have no beef with the Chinese people. It's about the continued provocation by the military apparatus and the Chinese Communist Party.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
This film franchise is just days away from a new video game release. Find out what Wizarding World will be available to players.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
How's it going, Portage County? I'm Michael Neenan, and it's about time we get into sports. Of course, I got a lot to talk about today, so you know what? Let's just get right into it. Of course, I'm talking about the Kent State men's basketball team. Starting things off, the team plays at home tonight against Bowling Green. Following a 12-point loss to Akron, the Flashes will have the chance to bounce back against another MAC rival in the Falcons. Of course, the Bowling Green Falcons are currently 8th in the conference and are riding a 3-game losing streak. So we'll see how that goes with them. And naturally, KSU has yet to lose a game at home this season, and I don't expect them to lose tonight either. I'm confident Sincere Carey will bounce back after a rough shooting game at the James A. Rose Arena in Akron. Be sure to catch the game on ESPN+. The tip-off is scheduled for 7 p.m. in the MAC. And moving on, we have the Cavaliers taking on the Wizards in the nation's capital. Starting things off, we have Donovan Mitchell, who backs up onto Denny Avdia, and he hits a contested mid-range jumper. Of course, to be outdone, having 10 points himself, Karis LeVert, he goes in and he banks in a layup. But the bank was open for the Cavs tonight. Darius Garland, he banks in another layup. Man, they're really putting on the points now. Of course, now to show some Wizard highlights, Corey Kispert, he drives from the corner and hits a layup. But Donovan Mitchell, a cross-court pass to Evan Mobley, who lays it in. Mobley would have 16 points on the night. The sophomore is looking good this year. And off the inbounds pass, Daniel Gafford hits a high-arcing mid-range jumper. Nothing to lose right now, fellas. And to top things off, Jared Allen, he catches a lob from mid-air. Jared Allen finished with 23 and 8, and in garbage time, off a missed layup from Jordan Godwin, Anthony Gill puts it back, and the Cavs would win 114-91. They are currently 4th place in the Eastern Conference. And finally, I thought I'd make a prediction about the upcoming Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams finished first in their respective conferences and are probably the 2 best teams in the league. That being said, I think this will be a very good game, and I predict the Chiefs will win 31-27. Patrick Mahomes will be playing on an injured ankle, yet I still think he is the better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and that is usually what decides games between 2 great teams, though it will be down to the wire nonetheless. And that's about all I have today. Be sure to follow our socials at TV2 KSU Sports for all sports-related updates within the area. I'm Michael Neenan, and let's send it back to the desk.
Disney and Marvel break another record. Find out what sequel just dropped on Disney+.
Welcome back. A long-awaited video game is set to launch tomorrow in different consoles and platforms, Hogwarts Legacy. And surprise, the Wizarding World is getting a new character. The game will feature the first transgender character in this franchise. Gamers met the trans character Sirona Ryan, owner of the 3 Broomstick Pub, during one in-game quest. The character doesn't specify if she's trans, but a line on her dialogue led players to make that conclusion.
And Marvel fans, get ready for this one. The film Black Panther: Wakanda Forever has become the most watched Marvel movie premiere on Disney Plus worldwide. This is based on hours streamed in the first 5 days of its release. This tops other Disney Plus releases such as Thor, Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So guys, Harry Potter. I'm not huge on Harry Potter, but I was just wondering, are you guys big fans of Harry Potter?
I'm a big fan. I read most of the books. I watched all of the movies, and I was really excited about the game. And I already started watching it, some of the streams and stuff like that. And I think it's really good. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched all the movies. I love watching the movies, and it's great binge watch for sure for me. I don't know.
What about you?
Yeah, me personally, I did watch all the movies. I did read the first book though, but I was forced to do that, so I kind of hated the first book. But hey, you know, it's fine.
So, you've read one book. Nuried, you said you read a couple books. So what do you guys think? Movies? The movies or the books? Which ones are better?
Oh, I'd say the movies for sure.
Movies? Oh, okay.
I think the books, but that's just me.
Okay.
And that is all the time we have for you today.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Be sure to follow all of our socials at kentwired.com.
And our social media platforms are at Kent Wired. I'm Abby Forbes.
I'm Michael Neenan.
I've been Josh Aponte.
And I'm Nuried Hurtado. Have a great night, Portage County.